My name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bears Shed. Today we've just got a few little things to cover. We bought a tractor through the week, an old Massey Ferguson 65, and it's a bit of an old clanger, but it won't take that much to get it sorted out. It drives well, it has power steering and multi-power, so I'll give you a little bit of a tour around there. Behind me here we've got the John Deere 420 tractor. This is a work in progress. It's a little 420 twin cylinder 1957 John Deere tractor. It's a high clearance, and there goes my phone. We're doing a little bit of work today on the John Deere 420, and it's a tractor that's been ongoing. It's been a restoration project that I've had for probably 6 or 8 months now, and all the front half is done, and I've had this hydraulic housing cracked at the back where I could see that someone before I ever got it had a bit of a go at it, and they've got it back together, but there's a few threads aren't the best, so we're restoring it back to normal. It won't have to do the lifting that it did once, but anyway, we'll give you a bit of a look at that in our Kangaroo Stew today. And we've got other parts over there. We've taken the roof off the 65, you'll see that. I've bought a few new tools and little bits and pieces, and yeah, we'll just put a Kangaroo Stew together and see what you think of it. Well, this is a little Massey 65 I bought through the week. It's a 1964 model. It's a bit rough around the edges, but I'll give it a bit of a pressure clean today, and we'll take a before and after. There's plenty of oil. It's just a normal farm tractor. Plenty of oil and rubbish around. It's a 65 power steering model. There's the power steering. A little bit of a leak there, but it does work well. It's a really good power steering for one of these old fellas. The injector pump's leaking. There's oil all down the side of the engine. The steering box is leaking. And the clutch, I'll see if I can zoom in on there. The clutch yoke at the back there is pretty worn, but they've got the ute tyres on it. They've taken the tractor tyres must have worn out, so they took them off. It's got the original Uber muffler on it. They're hard to find. It's got an original old Bearco canopy. They're an Australian canopy Alan Bear and his wife used to make. Left hand rear is about 70%, but it has got cracks in it. It's a high clearance model. Right hand rear tyre is new. Guards are quite rusty, but I have spares of those. And look at the roof. What a jet. And there she is. There she is in all her glory. Hey, I bet everyone needs one of these. But it was cheap. A fella come into the shop and offered it to us. It came with a spray on the back, and Ross wanted the spray, so that's going to Ross's place. Ross works for us and he plays with tractors too. Some of the reason I bought this is it's a 1964 Massey Ferguson 65, or in some countries they call them a 675, but it's the multi-power model. And the multi-power should have a rod that comes down to the multi-power valve here, and that should push and pull that fella there. And that rod was missing, so I suspected that the multi-power wasn't working, but I've gone for a little play this morning and it's working just fine. So multi-power's working, power steering's working, a few little things to do, so I'll give it a pressure clean and a degrease. It's got an alternator where it should have a generator. We'll fix that, and I'll give it a bath and I'll show you what it looks like when we're finished. Here we go. I spent about 4 hours cleaning the old Massey Ferguson 65. It didn't come up too bad. It's looking pretty good along the side of the engine there. I've I've taken all the rubbers off. We've got new gear stick boots to put on around the gear sticks there. I've taken the canopy off. We'll be fitting a roll frame, proper roll frame for that. It's come up pretty good. There's no leaks on the ground under it hardly. These mud guards will be coming off. And that's the old canopy. We'll be fixing that up just to keep it how it was. And it's a bit dark here, but it's come up pretty clean all up. There is a bit of a leak on the floor down here. So we'll be finding where that came from and sorting that. There's no leaks around the power steering from our little drive. So that's it. Today I'll be just giving a bit of a service. Some of these old lights that are all rusty around the back, they'll be taken off. That fellow will be taken off out of the way. And I may, in a future video, drop that injection pump off. You can see through here it's leaking out the main shaft, out of your main throttle shaft, so I'll have a look at that too. But we might put a full set of radiator hoses and just service it up so it's ready if we need to take it to a little show or go on a little tractor run or something like that. Well, I got rid of a little bit of money on eBay this week. I have had a fixed parting tool like this before. I have a larger one, but I'm actually having trouble at the moment finding the right inserts for it. I usually just buy inserts off eBay and places like that, so this is just a little grooving and parting tool. 2 millimeters wide. It's only 16 by 16, so it fits in my little Alorus type Chinese knockoff tool holder. And you get a few, a little packet of 10 inserts with it, and that'll last me quite a long time. But I'll still look for the inserts for the other ones, but for the moment I think from you could part something about 16 millimeters deep with this, and for a lot of my little mucking around, that's good. That's plenty. So yeah, that's purchase number one. Put that over there. I also bought a little set of Indexable End Mills. And once again, they're Chinese. There's a full set of them. I've taken the time and put the tips in them. You get a packet of 10 inserts with it. It's an eBay buy. Chinese once again, but for my little mill and what I do at the shop here with my making little parts for tractors, and I'll just get the other one out here. Yeah, making my little tractor parts and things like that. These will be fine. No shortage of torque drives, but I've got quite a few of them now, so anyway, that'll be okay. But no, they're nice and solid. There's quite a few jobs I've been sort of thinking I'd like the rigidity of having something a bit thicker and something that I can replace the ends on. So that's my little show and tell for the week. This is the reason we've pulled the back off the John Deere. It's had a break here at one stage. These two back bolts and the two over here have had the threads stripped out on them. And the two front ones are okay, but it's had a major failure. Right down the side there, it's been brazed. So anyway, our job is going to be to go right through the hydraulic system here. We'll pull it apart, we'll find out how it works, we'll make sure there's all new O-rings and bearings and well, whatever it needs in there it's going to get. And I've already bought some helicoil kits for these fellas, but I might have to build these up or braze them a little bit to give the helicoil something to bite into. So you can see down in under there it's had a bit of action. So anyway, that's the job over the next week or two on our days off, is to try and sort all this out properly. Well, I've got all this hydraulic section apart. This rear section, that's just no more than a couple of bell cranks and a couple of donkey dicks to go and push on the piston. These fellas here, they've both been welded at some stage, might have been when it had its mishap, and they just move forward. So depending on where the arms are, these fellas move back and forth, then they sit on these valves here, and so this other end takes a signal from your lever, and wherever your lever is set, it'll decide by pushing on this valve, which is your main lift valve, what happens. So it's got two pistons. So we'll get all that apart and have a look what we need in there. This lever on the side here, that decides whether each piston works independently or whether they work together as one. And you can, on this model, you can lock the arms at the back with a pin in through the back there. You can lock them and have them really lifting a lot of load, or you can have them separate with one set of arms, this one coming down the front here. It has a bar coming down to some underslung scufflers, and the back one lifts up. So with the two levers, it gives you the option, these two fellas here, it gives you the option of either just lifting the rear or just lifting the underbelly scufflers. So anyway, we'll pull all this apart. I've never had one of these apart, so this is what I like doing. We'll get him apart and see what parts we need. We'll find out what parts we need in case we have to order something or get something from downtown, and if we have to wait for parts, well, that'll give us time to work on the housing over there. We've got the pistons out of the 420, but it's a very simple system. These valves just pull out. There's a left and a right, and the bores are looking pretty good. I might even give them a hone just for good measure. And yeah, it's a very simple system. It's a beauty. There's a washer here. That's a ring in. Someone's put that in to take a bit of slop, so we'll have a look, and if we think it's necessary, we'll make a new one that's closer to size. It'll be the outside diameter of this smaller shaft, I would believe. Anyway, we'll move along and see how we go. We've got all the threads on the back of on the mount on the top of the gearbox. There's a couple of poor threads, and they're actually quite deep, and so there's plenty of room to put a 1 inch long half UNC helicoil in. And we've cleaned up around the corner there and cleaned up around the helicoil where the casting had broken out, and because we have a flat surface here and all around in here for it all to bolt to, we're just going to fill that with something like DevCon or a metal filler, and that's only for looks. The strength is already down in there. Well, I picked up a couple of stands. I seem to be doing a little bit more tractor work at the moment, just on my hobbies and things like that. So this fella here, he's a 12 ton per stand. And these little blokes over here, they're 6 tons, so that'll be alright. That'll help out a lot. I've got other stands, but yeah, they all seem to be in use. I have some smaller 6 ton ones tucked in over there, so these other fellas, they'll go good with that. That should give us 6 small ones, and 2 of those 12-ton ones. Then under the little crawler, which is just over here, we have 3 16-ton stands. So you know, that'll be a bit of a help around the place anyway. So nice and new, haven't even got oil on them yet.